Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. A very special welcome if you're new. My name is Leah Simpson. This is Homeschool at Heart, and today we're going to be talking about math in focus, and I'm going to be doing a curriculum review for you guys. All right, you guys. So I have been promising some curriculum reviews, and I've been promising some curriculum reviews, and I got through literally one, and then I started putting out some different content. So I'm gonna go back to review time. Also, sorry about my hair being pulled back in a ponytail. Usually I try to glam myself up a tiny bit for these videos, but I had a theater performance today, and I have to wear a wig because my hair is so short right now. Not a full wig, but a partial wig. So I did not have time to put my hair back down and straighten it or curl it or anything today. So it's been a little wild. So I have makeup on and my hair is technically done, but it's not, what you're used to seeing. So anyway, we're going to be talking about math in focus. This is from Singapore Math, and it is Common Core. So I have been using this math program with at least one of my kids for the entire time we've been homeschooling. We started out with Math in Focus with Beth. She did not do well with the Common Core concepts, and so we moved her to a few different maths trying to get to the right one. But she's still, it's just not her subject. So we are using Mr. D math for my big kids now, and we love that. But my youngest is still working through Math in Focus in elementary school, and will likely continue to work with it next year. I have taught all the way through 5th grade already in this program, and I don't foresee a change in that for elementary school. We will switch her to Mr. D math for junior high when we get there, or middle school, I guess. My brain hasn't made the switch from junior high to middle school terminology. But I was gonna show you guys inside the Math in Focus workbook, teacher book, and then there's also this extra book that I will show you. I don't really think you need this hardbound student book. I don't even know what they call this book. They don't have a name on here. Anyway, this hardbound book is basically, we'll just start here. We'll start here. This hardbound book is basically more problems to work through with your student. They're color pages, but it's like that glossy paper that you probably wouldn't have them write on. And we literally never touch this book. We work with a charter school, and so they have purchased all of our school books and materials. And I, years ago, bought this as the set of things. So it came with the 2 teacher books, the 4A and 4B with this book in it, and then both of the student workbooks. But we literally never open this because it's just not necessary. So you can save yourself a little bit of money and not do that. So I do think that you should get the teacher book. I don't teach out of the teacher book. I only use it to get the problems. Well, that's not completely true. The teacher book is massive. Okay, it's a huge giant. Look at how big it is. It's so big. There are 2 of these that will come with your curriculum. I mostly use it just to have the answers to the problems in the student book. And I mostly just teach from the examples in the student book because we haven't really come up with against a lot of things in this math program that have needed me to go to the teacher book. But every time I try to teach out of this book, I have a hard time. I have a hard time following it because I did not learn Common Core. However, because I've gone all the way from kindergarten to fourth grade, well, fifth grade really, but this is fourth grade. Because I've gone all the way up through using this curriculum, I have been able to teach all of the Common Core concepts to my kids successfully, mostly by just using the examples, and I'll show you how that works in the workbook, and then being able to check their work with the teacher edition that has all the answers in it. I mostly find their way of teaching it to be like doing things the long way around or the more confusing way around. And if I am confused by a concept in the book, like how to teach it correctly, then usually what I will do is I'll go to YouTube and we'll watch a YouTube video together and go, oh, okay, that wasn't actually that hard. So that's mostly what I do with this. This is mostly just a resource to have all the answers handy so I don't have to do every problem myself. But let me show you guys, well, while I have this in my hand, let me show you what's inside of here. I'm going to show you guys a specific place in the workbook that I have flagged. So I'll just show you the same pages in the teacher book. Okay, chapter 3. Okay, so they'll give you, this is whole number multiplication and division is what this chapter is about. So they'll give you an overview. You can choose to read that or not. I don't usually do that. They have calendar math that you can do. My kids know how to use a calendar, so we don't really do that. There is additional support in here for English language learners and for struggling learners and for advanced learners. Okay, so we have the whole gamut here. There's the lesson kind of table of contents. Okay, so here is what we have. This is what I believe is in that book that I said you don't need. And so you could even see it in your teacher edition. This is further reasons why you don't need that hardbound book. So I do like that the teacher edition is spiral bound. It makes it really easy for me to flip through. So they have the big idea, chapter opener, more pages of the student, that hardbound book. Recall prior knowledge. This is a mastery type math curriculum. So you're going to be doing all the same concept for a little while. The whole chapter is about doing this multiplication and division. So every problem is going to be like that. There's not a lot of review going on within each section. At the end of the chapter, they will have a review, but you go on doing the same thing for a while. They just add a new level to it for each lesson. So there's more explanation on this page. Let's see what we got going on over here. A little bit more explanation over here. But again, I feel like they explain it in like the most roundabout, difficult way possible. And so when I'm reading that to my student, I always am like, I don't know how we're going to get through this. So then if you go a few pages later, okay, so here's 3.1, multiplying by a 1-digit number. So again, here's your teaching. Here's the hardbound book page. You've got a lesson objective, resources you can use, materials that they want you to use, what pages of the student workbook we're going to be using. So then teaching, guided practice, and then day 2 teaching will start the next section, I believe. I don't know. There's also a game in here, roll and multiply, for you just use a pair of dice. So that's kind of fun. Then it has you know, math journal and all of the things I'm going to show you in the workbook. So I don't like to teach from their book, but what I will do is teach from the workbook. So let's see if it will focus on here. So you can see that they've got a pretty clear example here. So multiplying by one digit number. Step one, we're trying to do 2 times 6 equals 12. 2 ones times 6 equals 12 ones. Then we divide it up into place value, 1, 10, and 2 ones. So that's what this exercise is going to be. And then when we get down to the bottom, this is the Common Core-ish stuff, guys, though. So we've got 962 times 6. So 2 ones times 6 is 12. So we've gone, you know, kind of, we're doing these problems, and then it's going to move into this as the larger problem down here. So they've prepped us for that so that we can get to this bigger number. So 6 tens times 6 is 360. 9 hundreds times 6 is 5,400, and then you add them together to get 5,772. It's a roundabout way. I would, you know, normally just teach this the old-fashioned way, but, you know, to do 6 times 2, then 6 times 6, 6 times 9. So they are basically doing that, but they're just showing them how to do it in a different way, which is Common Core. So then we do that again on the next page. It's all basically the exact same. And then they give them more problems to practice in a more traditional, what I would call a traditional way of doing multiplication. By this time, they of course already know how to do multiplication. They should have memorized the multiplication tables, things like that. I have said in other videos though, so no judgment if your kid has not got them memorized, that some of my kids like have a mental block from memorizing multiplication tables. And so what I will have them do is I will have them write out the multiplication table, because they can figure out how to get each of the answers so that if they need it, it's there. That's what we do for standardized testing too, is they're allowed to have their piece of paper. They can't have any kind of help with their math, but they can on their own sheet of paper write, you know, 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6, that kind of thing. So they can have it all right there if they would like it. They obviously don't need it for the 2s, but they do need it for certain ones of the multiplication tables, and so that's what I have them do. So then they have like a little riddle, so it makes it feel more like a game on the next page, but they're doing more of the same. So that is kind of how the workbook will teach, or how this curriculum works within the workbook. I really like this workbook. I feel like it's not too many things. Like they don't give them too many problems most of the time. If we get more to, like, say this one has 20 in the lesson, it's only 3-4 pages, but you know, the first 2 pages are not a lot of actual mathing. If I feel like there's too much, then I'll just break the lesson into 2 and we'll just take 2 days to do something. Or 3 days if they, you know, some lessons. I don't think in this level they have had more than 40 questions, but I think in level 5 they've had like up to 50 or something like that. And that, in that case, I would just be like, okay, these are the ones we're doing today, and then we'll move on to tomorrow. Especially with my 4th grader who has a short attention span. So she's pretty math savvy, so she doesn't really have a lot of problem, but we get to some sections where she's like, you know, not overwhelmed by the math, but just like loses focus. And so then we'll just say, okay, we're done now after 2 pages, or after I set a timer for whatever, then we'll stop and we'll come back to it the next day. But we don't have to do that a ton, especially since we've moved on to 4B. It kind of switches gears to things that she's enjoying, the decimals and all of that stuff. She likes the multiplication, she likes the addition, she does not love division or subtraction. And so when we get to those types of things, I don't know what it is, but she just doesn't enjoy them, and so she like loses her focus. Anyway, that's a tangent, but anyway, I love this program, which is why we have stuck it out. So let's see. My oldest daughter is now in 7th grade, so it's been 8 or 9 years, because I think we started it in TK actually. So lots of years of using this program. We have enjoyed it. It doesn't, I mean, I have taught the same lessons over and over and over again, and I always am interested and come back to find something new. So I recommend this program for up to 5th grade. Like I said, I haven't gone higher than 5th grade with this program, but I'm sure that it's great even after that. But we switched gears and started doing a program called Mr. D Math with my middle schoolers, because it had video lessons and things like that, and my 2 middle schoolers could do the same work together. So I will review that as well, but we have enjoyed Math in Focus all the way up from TK. Well, it starts in kindergarten. They don't have like a TK version of it, but from level K all the way up through grade 5. So highly recommend this program if you are looking for something that is mastery with Common Core. If you are not looking for a Common Core math, then I would actually recommend more like Right Start Math. We enjoyed that more than Saxon Math. So if you're looking for something that's a little bit more traditional and not as Common Core focused, I would go with something like Right Start. And I do have a video that I will link in the description box below where I compared Math in Focus with Saxon and Right Start, and that video actually has so many views on it. It's kind of crazy to me, but we moved away from both of those other ones and continued to use Math in Focus. So if you're looking for something that your charter school will cover, if you're looking for Common Core, you're looking for mastery, then this is probably going to be a winner for you guys. If not, if that doesn't check those boxes, then maybe this is the one for you, but I will link that other video and you can kind of see the same type of concept taught in the 3 different ways. So thanks you guys for watching, and I will talk to you in my next video. Okay guys, so this is the part of the video where I tell a funny story or give a life update, something about my personal life. So this video, I'm gonna talk about, I went to a Disney After Dark. I live in Southern California. I live near Disneyland. Well, like an hour away from Disneyland. And my friends and I have three close friends that I go to a Disney After Dark event with around this time every year. This was our 3rd time, I think, going. So it was super fun. It's kind of in between my birthday and another friend's birthday, and so we kind of like count it as like our birthday celebration. And it was 90s night this time, which the theme, I mean, I grew up in the 90s, so that was kind of, I was like, oh, it could be a cool theme. It was not my favorite of the Disney After Dark events. Actually, I liked Disney Channel night, which was last year, the best, even though I didn't watch a ton of Disney Channel growing up, but they had like Phineas and Ferb and everything out there. Disney Descendants, which my kids are like all into. Phineas and Ferb and Disney Descendants are my 9-year-old's like jam. So that was a fun theme. This time it was like okay, but we didn't really care about the theme so much as we cared about going to Disney together with like a less crowded atmosphere. So we tried all the snacks and all of the things, and we went on a bunch of rides. But here's the funny part. So we go to get on Haunted Mansion because it's like, it's not my favorite one, but like the three of them love Haunted Mansion. And they just like redid a bunch of stuff in there. And I had already been on it since they like reopened it and been into the store and everything that they just opened over there. But I think my friend Jessie, who has a pass, had been in there too, but my friends Jen and Tiffany had not yet been through that ride because they don't have passes right now. And so we were like, okay, cool, we'll go. And there was not enough people to go through all the queue line, which like the queue line is fantastic if you haven't been, if you have a pass or you're going to go to Disney and you aren't usually like a Haunted Mansion person, the queue line is really fun. It's kind of like Pet Cemetery looking. So it's like got a lot of like silly little headstones and stuff for all the pets. It's funny. There's like so many funny things in there. But we get through the shorter version of the queue line, and then we get on the ride and we start going and we're like, yes, Haunted Mansion, this is gonna be so cool. And the ride breaks down and we're like sitting there. Probably 15 minutes goes by, if not 20. It was a long time. Usually you don't think that the ride is going to break down in there. That's almost never happened to me where I've been on a ride that's broken down. That hasn't like been able to restart. Anyway, so we're sitting there and we're in two doom buggies like right next to each other, and so we're like talking, and then all of a sudden they're like, the ride is not gonna restart. We're gonna get you guys out of here. And they turn on all the lights. And it was trippy, you guys. It's so trippy to be on a ride when they turn the lights on, because it's, you know, the atmosphere is completely different. We didn't get that far into the ride. I kind of wish that we were in like the room with like the ghosts that were like jumping out from behind the gravestones or whatever. But we were like right across from, I'll show you guys a picture. We were right across from where like the little candelabra is like being held up by a ghost. So it was kind of weird to see down there. And then, you know, like right by where the wallpaper starts with like the doors and everything anyway, you could hear everything clicking, but like they had the lights on and they turned off all of the like ambient noise and everything. It was so weird. Anyway, I'll show you guys some pictures, but being on a ride when it breaks down is crazy. I guess that's my story for you. But then we also got to go down like the cast member hallway to get off the ride, and it was a pretty cool time. I think I liked the ride breaking down better than the actual ride, but my two friends who don't have passes were disappointed that we didn't get to do see the whole ride, because it stayed broken down the rest of the night. So otherwise we would have circled back and gone on it again. Anyway, that's my story for you guys, and I will talk to you guys in the next one.